He's the voice of a continent, the rhythm of rebellion, and the heartbeat of hope. From the dusty streets of Côte d'Ivoire to the grandest stages on earth, one man used reggae to shake the system and unite generations. This is more than music. This is the revolution of Alpha Blondy. From Côte d'Ivoire to the world stage, his voice carried the rhythm of resistance and the melody of hope. He spoke many languages, but the world heard one message: unity. This is the untold story of a legend who turned reggae into a voice for Africa. This is Alpha Blondy. Alpha Blondy was born as Seydou Koné on January 1st, 1953, in the town of Dimbokro, nestled in the heart of Ivory Coast. Raised in a family where faiths merged, his mother a devout Muslim, his father a Christian, young Seydou grew up in a household that embodied harmony through diversity. As a child, he was deeply immersed in the oral storytelling traditions of the griots, keepers of history, culture, and wisdom. These early influences shaped the poetic cadence that would define his lyrics years later. Education was a major pillar in Seydou's life. He excelled in school, showing early signs of brilliance and curiosity. He moved to the capital, Abidjan, for higher education and eventually made his way to the United States to study English at Hunter College in New York. Later, he would travel to Paris to pursue studies in communication. It was in these cosmopolitan centers that Seydou encountered reggae music. Bob Marley's voice pierced through his consciousness like a divine revelation. Reggae, he discovered, was more than music. It was a movement. When Seydou returned to Ivory Coast in the early 1980s, he was no longer the same. Now adopting the name Alpha Blondy, Alpha as in the beginning, and Blondie, a nickname from childhood, he set out to create his own path. In 1982, he released the revolutionary single, Brigadier Sabari. The song recounted his own brutal experience with police brutality. Sung in local Dioula, French and English, the song resonated with the public like wildfire. It was more than a hit, it was a cry for justice. Alpha's ability to sing in multiple languages became his trademark. He infused Dioula, French, English, Arabic, and even Hebrew into his songs, making his messages accessible and universal. His lyrics tackled corruption, war, social injustice, and racism. The reggae genre, already associated with resistance, was reimagined through an African lens. His voice became the pulse of a continent yearning for peace. Alpha Blondy's debut album, Jah Glory, dropped in 1982 and changed everything. The album was an explosive mix of spiritual and political messages wrapped in infectious reggae rhythms. It became a landmark in African music. Success followed swiftly. In 1984, he traveled to Jamaica to record with the legendary Wailers, the same band that backed Bob Marley. The result was the album CoteDIvoireReggae, which fused Ivorian roots with authentic Jamaican reggae. The albums Apartheid is Nazism and Jerusalem further cemented his status as a global artist with a powerful conscience. In Jerusalem, recorded in the Holy City, Alpha sang in Hebrew, calling for peace among religions. By the mid-1980s, Alpha Blondy was touring across Africa, Europe, the Caribbean, and the Americas. His fan base spanned continents. He wasn't just a musician, he was a global ambassador of peace. Behind the spotlight, Alpha Blondy's life was marked by deep spirituality and personal trials. Raised in a multi-faith household, he embraced elements of Islam, Christianity, and Rastafarianism, blending them into a personal spiritual practice rooted in love and unity. He is a father to several children and has often spoken about the joys and challenges of fatherhood. His relationships, though largely kept private, have inspired some of his most personal songs. In the 1990s, Alpha went public about his struggles with mental health. Diagnosed with bipolar disorder, he became a rare African celebrity to speak openly about mental illness, destigmatizing it and encouraging others to seek help. This period of vulnerability only deepened his music and strengthened his public image as a man unafraid to confront pain and preach healing. Throughout his career, Alpha Blondy has been a fierce critic of political corruption and violence. His lyrics have called out dictators, colonial legacies, and Western exploitation. During Ivory Coast's political crises in the 2000s, Alpha used his music and platform to call for peace and national reconciliation. He met with political leaders, addressed youth protests, and performed benefit concerts for displaced families. Appointed as a UN peace ambassador, Alpha worked on initiatives around education, anti-racism, and youth empowerment. He launched community projects in Abidjan and supported local schools. His activism is not a side project, it is the heartbeat of his music. Alpha Blondy's live performances are electrifying experiences. Whether performing in France, Germany, Jamaica, or Mali, his energy is infectious, his presence magnetic. Backed by his band, the Solar System, Alpha turns concerts into spiritual ceremonies. His voice, raw and powerful, cuts through language and borders. The crowd sings in unison, swaying to rhythms born of struggle and triumph. He's shared the stage with some of the world's greatest artists and collaborated across genres, from reggae and rock to traditional African music. To witness Alpha Blondy live is to witness music as a force of nature. Over 4 decades, Alpha Blondy has been celebrated worldwide. He's received numerous awards, including the Cora Award for Best African Artist, African Music Awards, and several international reggae and world music awards. UNESCO recognized him for his cultural contributions, and he has been honored by governments for his work in promoting peace. But for Alpha Blondy, the real reward lies in the lives touched and the minds awakened. With an estimated net worth between $5 to $10 million, Alpha Blondy has turned his art into lasting impact. His income streams come from music sales, live performances, publishing rights, and business ventures. He's invested in education and health initiatives and has helped build schools in underprivileged areas. He remains active in philanthropy, supporting causes from child welfare to environmental sustainability. Even in wealth, his mission remains spiritual and humanitarian. Now in his 70s, Alpha Blondy continues to create, reflect, and inspire. He splits his time between Abidjan and Europe, working on music projects, writing, and engaging in activism. Recent interviews show a man at peace, still passionate, still outspoken. He releases singles occasionally and performs selectively, ensuring each show carries weight and meaning. He appears on podcasts, collaborates with young artists, and mentors the next generation of African musicians. Alpha Blondy is more than a musician. He is a symbol of resilience, of truth, of the enduring power of art. He paved the way for African reggae and gave voice to issues long ignored. His music reached from the villages of Côte d'Ivoire to the skyscrapers of New York, calling people everywhere to listen, think, and act. Generations of African artists cite him as a pioneer. Through him, reggae became African. Through him, music became medicine. His journey, from Dimbokro to the world stage, is a story of purpose. Alpha Blondy isn't just a reggae artist. He is a revolutionary, a poet, a prophet. As long as his voice rings out, so too will the call for peace, justice, and unity. His story is not over. It continues in every song, in every soul touched by his message. This was Alpha Blondy, the voice of African reggae. If you were inspired by this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth documentaries on the most influential figures of our time.